Project Zomboid. What can I say about this game? My initial experience with this game was seeing it on the Steam store, watching the vehicle update pictures slide by, thinking this is just another early access zombie game that'll have its production dropped within a month. I was thankfully wrong. One day while scrolling through YouTube, I saw a Devil Dog Gamer video. The title was Best Zombie Game, Project Zomboid. The thumbnail was just a simple Willys Jeep with a camper trailer attached to it. And I thought, well, that's that game that I was looking at a while ago. Alright, so I sat down and I watched it. After that, I watched a couple of Ambiguous Amphibians videos. And granted, I don't think I would have gone in playing the same way that he was playing, but that's neither here nor there. But after seeing both of their videos, I needed to try it. And I immediately fell in love. The isometric view, the vast open map, the character build options requiring a balance of both good and bad traits, the large crafting system which is about to get updated and made even more vast and complicated, a base building system that has different tiers depending on your skills in carpentry or metalworking, a skill grind, which to some, like Flurry, is too long and drawn out, but to others is a long and rewarding process of endless progress. I found this game was a refreshing oasis in a vast desert of linear or PvP-focused zombie games. This comes as somebody whose previously favorite zombie game was State of Decay. But after dumping about 600 hours into this game, I can say with absolute certainty that this is the best zombie survival game out there. There are a few reasons why I can make that claim.
I will illuminate 3.
Number 1 is the sheer size of the map. Spanning an area of 86 square kilometers and about to grow even larger with a new map expansion in Build 42. The map includes a large swath of wilderness and several towns to explore, from the large and zombie-infested Louisville to the northwest, which I have yet to even fully explore, to the isolated military housing community of March Ridge to the south, with its tight streets leading to heart-pounding gameplay as you dodge zombies on your journey to find the officer who fucked your DD-214 and got you stop-lost in Afghanistan for another extra year and a half. Anyways, the sheer size of the map allows you to play in a bunch of different ways, from being a lone hermit in the middle of the woods with your custom-built log cabin and a constant supply of fish and water from the nearby lake, to the owner of a massive fortified base with enough supplies and pornography to last you until this thing blows over. Or even a nomad whose life revolves around their car and never stays in one place. There's a playstyle for everyone. Wandering this world is not without its dangers, however, as currently when playing alone, the only others who share the world with you are the undead, who can vary depending on your settings and come in 3 varieties. Slow shamblers, the classic slow-moving people eaters you'd recognize from the Walking Dead series. Easy to avoid on their own, but can be deadly in large groups. There's the shamblers, the undead version of the speedwalkers we all made fun of before the outbreak. While not too dissimilar to the slow boys, they move quick enough to keep pace with the survivor, if a bit slower than their normal walk speed. Lastly, we come to the sprinters. If you've ever seen 28 Days Later, your experience is not going to be too much different from that film. Except you can create a new character and send that into the meat grinder when your old one joins the horde. One last thing on the world is that it changes as time goes on. In 4 ways, the world will change to pose new challenges to your character. Once you get into the game and have survived the first few days, maybe you have a small house fortified. You've boarded up the windows and have a few cans of spaghetti bolognese squirreled away for a supply of food when you hear it. At first it sounds like a thumping, but no. It's more of a chopping sound. A helicopter. Perhaps it's a rescue. You go outside to greet your savior, but no. That fucker is little more than a flying voyeur who gets off on watching everything you've built over the course of several hours get destroyed. Because in the time that rat bastard could have picked you up and whisked you off and out of the quarantine zone, he has summoned the entire fucking population of Kentucky. They put down their sister's ass crack, and they're coming for yours. And that can of spaghetti isn't going to save you. Now let's say you lived through that. You set up a new base, you found some beef jerky, you sit down to enjoy it over an episode of Life and Living. Then the light turns off. You flip the switch, nothing. TV and fridge are off too. Oh yeah, the power grid has gone down, and you didn't find a generator in time. Any perishable food you have in that fridge is now going to go the way of California, rotting away until it's little more than a pile of foul-smelling mush. The heating and cooling is also off too. So the house is no longer safe from the outdoor temperature, without a wood stove or a fireplace at least. That's fine, it's 60 degrees outside. You'll be fine. Your bottle's running a little bit dry. So you go to the sink, and nary a drop of water comes out. Oh yeah, the water's been shut off too. So you'll need to find new ways of getting that high quality H2O. You can collect it from the sky when it falls down from the clouds, and it lands in a container that you've placed outside. Likewise, you can collect water from any puddle or pond, or even straight from the Ohio River. But that stuff will need to be purified by boiling it over a fire or on a stove, which requires power, or an antique oven, which needs to be installed and then fueled with wood. Or you can luck out and find yourself a base which has a well with infinite purified water to draw from. The world of Zomboid will age with time, with nature gradually taking over, with grass, rust, and vines growing on nearly every unkempt surface, which keeps the player immersed in the world as they play through the months they manage to keep their characters alive. My next point is the character. From step 1, the game gives you options for your chosen pre-apocalypse profession, ranging from an unemployed lowlife to a veteran, giving you stat boosts and bonus traits depending on the profession. Professions have costs, however, and the good traits that you choose will need to be balanced out with bad ones. For instance, if I want a lumberjack who is strong, organized, and brave, that would leave me with 20 negative points that I need to balance out in order to start my character. I would need to pick smoker, plus 4 positive points, hearty appetite, another plus 4, unfit for 10, and slow reader in order to balance it out. The balance of positive and negative traits makes it so your character is never an almighty demigod, with you never being able to have all of the positive traits without any downsides. Alternatively, you can be a psychopath and take all the negative traits, leaving you with a total basket case to take care of through hell on earth. I tend to leave that to ambiguous amphibian. The next thing is long-term skill grind. You can't go from having 0 in strength to a 10 in a few minutes like most games. The process takes in-game days, requiring your character to physically exercise, whether it be push-ups, squats, or burpees. And even if you somehow manage to find dumbbells or a barbell, you can do barbell curls, dumbbell presses, or dumbbell curls in order to gain better XP for the strength skill. However, after exercising, your character will experience exercise fatigue, causing pain and lowering your ability to deal damage to the undead. Between the absurd rarity of exercise equipment and the limits caused by endurance and the fatigue afterwards, leave you with a lot of work to get to those higher levels. The same goes for the other skills, requiring you to use those skills to level them up. I won't go through them all because there is a lot, but I'll go through the categories to give you an idea on what's what. The passives are fitness and strength, determining your carry weight, melee damage, attack speed, and endurance levels. They're leveled up by exercising, moving while carrying heavy loads, and while hitting zombies while not on low endurance. Agility includes your sprinting, light-footed, nimble, and sneaking skills. Sprinting is obvious. You can level it up by running, holding shift, or by sprinting, holding left alt. Light-footed determines how quiet you are. This is leveled up by sneaking around groups of zombies without them knowing. Nimble affects your movement speed while in the combat stance, and you level it up by being in the combat stance. Fairly easy enough when you're doing any form of melee attacks. You can even do it at home by yourself, if you want to be that guy walking around your house LARPing as a medieval knight. Lastly, sneaking. Do I need to explain this one? It affects your ability to move around silently and improves the chance of not being spotted by the undead. Level it by sneaking around the undead. Simple enough. The combat skills are pretty self-evident. The different weapon skills judging how fast you attack and how much damage you deal, and how much of a chance you have to get a critical hit. You level these up by using the different types of weapons on the undead. The one exception being maintenance, which takes into account your proficiency with a weapon type and the level of maintenance you have to determine if your weapon takes damage with your attacks. This is fairly easy and it allows you to choose what type of melee weapon you want to go with. I'm going to jump over crafting and go to firearms, which includes aiming and reloading, which affects your accuracy, range, and crit chance, as well as the speed of reloading guns, loading and unloading magazines, and loading rounds into the cylinder, tube, or internal magazines for guns like bolt actions, revolvers, and shotguns. Level these up by shooting at zombies or reloading magazines infinitely in your house. Best way to level up your aiming is to get a hold of a shotgun and enough ammunition where you hope that it'll be enough to get rid of the horde that you're going to attract with a shotgun. My recommendation is going to mold raw and trying it there. Crafting is, well, crafting, with the various trees allowing you to make the higher tier crafts in the massive crafting tree, which is going to be revamped in the next build of the game. Being able to craft bombs from the electrical tree, different foods from cooking, build different structures and barricades on the carpentry and metalworking skills, allowing you to repair and reinforce clothing with padding on the tailoring skill, and repair and modifying cars with mechanics. What's better is some recipes are locked behind magazines that you have to find and read throughout the world, mechanic being the main one, with 3 books for the various tiers of cars. Lastly is the survivalist, which includes fishing, trapping, and foraging. Fishing and trapping being food related with how well you are able to catch fish and small game with rods and traps respectively. Foraging affects the search mode, determining how large your radius is, how fast you detect items like berries, rocks, sticks, and mushrooms. This is also affected by the area you are in, with farmland and cities having very different loot tables. All I'm saying is you're much more likely to find garbage than food if you're in the middle of a city foraging. One final thing on skills is that while the grind may be long and arduous, you can give yourself boosts to XP gains by reading skill books, with each volume correlating to the skill level that you're working on. After reading a book, which is not instant, you will have made your grind a tad bit easier on yourself. The other way to gain XP is to watch TV, whether live or through VHS tapes. I know my Gen Z brethren are going to be very terrified of VHS tapes. Remember, be kind, rewind. Just be sure to tune into Life and Living to catch some shows for easy XP when you're early into a run. The last thing for this video is the modding scene. If you've watched my other videos, you would know that I'm a big Fallout nerd, which it kinda pains me to see how the series sits currently. However, modding is a big part of the games that I play, as it can give games a much longer lifespan than it would normally. It'll give new cars, weapons, game mechanics, NPCs, albeit unstable NPCs, but humans regardless. The large and active modding community on the Games Workshop have kept this game fresh for years, and I don't see it slowing down, especially with the developers putting in features with the express intent to give modders the ability to expand upon it with ease. I mean, do you really think people would still be playing Skyrim today if it didn't have an insane modding factory pumping out new sex mods like they're a Chinese toy factory? With Build 42, the devs will be implementing new features like new levels both up and down to make basements and bunkers and even skyscrapers. A whole system of factory machinery allowing for the automation of crafting and an entire primitive crafting system to open up new opportunities for new mods with a ton of potential to make this game even better than it currently is. So I hope with this video I gave you at least some reason to give Project Zomboid a shot, if you have not already. And if I haven't, you should go look up either Ambiguous Amphibians or Mr. Atomic Duck's channel, if you need more proof, as one does more challenge-based playthroughs and the other keeps up on the news and mod side of the game. both have plenty of videos to give you an idea of the game and what's in store for you. But that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you guys watching. And I want to let you know that I stream every weekend on twitch.tv/foxesvault. So if you want to see me or chat with me or just watch me fumble around in video games with friends and alone sometimes, join me over there on the weekend. I'm trying to be consistent. But if you want to see more, because I'm trying to do more videos, I got some plans. The next video is going to be Grand Theft Auto based, and I know this stuff isn't Fallout, but I don't want to be locked to Fallout, unfortunately. It's not in a good spot. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Click the like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.